You know, it's unfortunately what happened, and no one wants it. I didn't actually see it because we were doing an interview in the room, and I come out and I heard about it. No one wants that happening, but both the guys were.
You are not on the same level. And where you are in your career, you don't offer me nothing.
If you don't want to fight,
I don't need to fight.
If you don't want to
where
fight,
I'm going
say
is
that, bro.
bigger and better than you.
Bro, you got 3 losses.
It's bigger than
Like I said, there's always two sides of AJ.
Which you said for a while that you will see it at some point.
You will see it. And when someone pushes your buttons, when someone shoves you like that, when someone starts talking about your mum, no man, like, look.
The fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder at the airport yesterday shocked the boxing world, especially after Wilder was taken to the hospital. Boxing experts are furious, and many say Joshua crossed a line that shouldn't have been crossed and should be punished legally for what he did.
My mum and all this other stuff, I'm going to have a pop at it. I can't fight, but I don't care. I'll have a right go. And you're talking about the world heavyweight champion. If you start talking to him like that, if you shove him like that, he's going to react.
Frank Warren has publicly criticized the event, saying that it ruins the credibility of boxing totally. As news spreads about Wilder's hospitalization, the anger against Anthony Joshua grows as people demand that he take responsibility for what happened.
That's for sure, and everybody wants to show some respect to each other, and let's see the fight where it should happen in the ring.
Duke McKenzie says that what happened was just normal fight business theater, but this view doesn't seem reasonable. After Joshua's attack at the airport, which sent Wilder to the hospital, fighters across the division are rejecting this downplaying and calling for harsh punishments.
Wouldn't surprise me, but like I say, I don't see there's any harm in it. It didn't bring the sport into disrepute in any way. This is the show business world that we live in. There's the fight game and then there's the fight business. And from the business perspective, that's probably just sold another 1 million tickets worldwide to people to watch.
Anthony Joshua's past comments about wanting to hurt Deontay Wilder are now coming back to haunt him. After what happened yesterday, which sent Wilder to the hospital, these words seem to be less about advertising and more about scary threats that happened outside of the ring.
Problems, but that's high-level competition. I won't kind of go over everything that I've been studying about him, but let's just say he's got a good mindset. He's spoken a lot, so you know where his head's at. He's game, innit? And that'll be good enough for me. That's good enough to bring them.
Tyson Fury keeps supporting Deontay Wilder while questioning Joshua's skills, which makes the fight worse. Wilder's return from illness makes the case that he is the real deal in boxing stronger. Joshua's image is slowly getting worse among his peers and fans.
Joshua needs to prove himself on the world stage because he's so happy fighting in England and fought beating Klitschko after I'd destroyed him mentally and had a war with him in a beaten fighter. So he needs to prove he's willing to step up to the plate.
Deontay Wilder has always been a great example of the fighting spirit in professional boxing. But what happened at the airport yesterday completely crossed those sacred lines. And the boxing community thinks Anthony Joshua used his fighting spirit in the worst way possible.
Exchange, I mean, it wasn't a few words, you know, I dapped it up with him and I said, now let's get it on. And it was simple as that.
You think fight you want next, Deontay?
I'm ready for whoever, you know. It's whoever. As long as these guys is in the heavyweight division, I'm here. You know, like I said, you can call me Mr. Clean because I want to clean up the whole division. The heavyweight division is nothing without.
Without Deontay, the heavyweight class doesn't mean anything. Based on what happened afterward, Max Kellerman's case is much more convincing. It seems that Anthony Joshua avoided Deontay Wilder because he was afraid of the devastating equalizer blow. When you put this escape theory together with yesterday's attack at the airport that sent Wilder to the hospital, it makes me very worried about Joshua's goals. Did years of avoiding this dangerous confrontation lead to anger that exploded in the wrong way? Many experts now think Anthony Joshua fully understood Wilder's threats in the ring, but he chose to fight outside of professional lines instead of using legal fighting to settle his differences.
Making $30 million a fight, fighting anyone in front of 70 to 100,000 fans in England. Why make $50 million to fight a guy who might beat him, right? Wilder really can beat he has chances against anyone because Fury's right. He's one of the great all-time punchers with the right hand. So there's no financial incentive.
Frank Warren tries to fix the problems and get boxing back on track, but it looks like the damage can't be fixed. After Deontay Wilder had to be taken to the hospital right away, fans and fighters won't forget what happened. Even though Anthony Joshua has apologized, his public image has been badly damaged. In modern fighting, how people see you is equal to how well you do, and people think you are doing very badly right now. Many people say that this case should be looked into in detail instead of being thrown out right away, with legal consequences still being thought about in depth.
That's not what we want. I don't want to see that happen. No one does. But I understand now both sides have made it up. They've apologized. So hopefully it's all in the past and we can concentrate what everybody...
It's no secret that Carl Froch questions Anthony Joshua's mental toughness and confidence. Recent events after the airport incident have made these worries even stronger. People who watch think that psychological pressure leads to bad behavior when the athlete is not competing. Would things have gotten worse if Anthony Joshua really thought he could beat Deontay Wilder professionally? Meanwhile, Wilder's knockout power is still the best in boxing. All it takes is one clean hit to win. This is why he is still so famous, even though he has been involved in a lot of controversy.
I don't know if AJ believes he can beat Deontay. Well, maybe he does, maybe he wants to come back, maybe he wants to fight again, but what happens in that fight? Anthony Joshua in one corner, Deontay Wilder in the other corner, they come together in the centre of the ring. What happens? I honestly can't say what happens. I think if Deontay Wilder throws a couple of meaningful right hands and connects on AJ's chin, then the fight's over. AJ will be knocked out. He's got...
Carl Froch talks about doubt and mistrust, which seem like foreboding words in light of yesterday's airport disaster. Fans can't get enough of the plot about Anthony Joshua being uneasy at key moments before exploding outside the ring. It looks like this is stifled fear bursting in a bad way. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, stayed calm, sure of himself, and eager to solve problems through good ring competition. Because of this big difference, the boxing world now backs Wilder because they see him as the more realistic and brave opponent.
When Deontay Wilder walked from the ring, AJ was stood there looking a bit weird and a bit like confused, like, am I going to do anything? Am I not going to do anything? And Wilder, I think, said, let's do it next, let's do it, let's get it on. And AJ just sort of, he didn't say much. I think he might have said, you don't want this or something to them lines, but never really tried to get the fight going. I think AJ's got this thing in his head where I don't think he's sure of himself. If he thinks about fighting Deontay Wilder, does he believe...
Johnny Nelson says that Deontay Wilder has lost his famous power, but not many fans or professionals agree. The deadly right hand that made Wilder famous will never be forgotten, and individual acts can't change that. Since the event at the airport that sent Wilder to the hospital, there has been a lot more support and sympathy. Now, more and more people are standing up for Wilder, denying these doubts about his power while stressing that he is still a threat when fighting fairly and according to professional standards.
Wilder's snapper's gone. Wilder's TNT has gone. Wilder's that punch is gone. He couldn't even let it go. He's just gone. So I don't believe that. I think Carl might be.
Still, Duke McKenzie sees this as a way to make money. But feelings about Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder have gone through the roof. Since yesterday's event, which sent Wilder to the hospital, talk about the fight has become very personal instead of promotional. Even though Deontay Wilder's supporters respect Anthony Joshua's skills, they are strongly against any actions that could hurt his image. The public's view has changed a lot to see Wilder as the victim. This has put a lot more pressure on Anthony Joshua as criticism grows from every boxing area.
Deontay Wilder knows how to sell a fight, and he's already called out Joshua. That's a big fight. I mean, like I said, I'd love to see him walk away from the sport. Wilder, I'd like to see him say, you know what, I've had enough, but he's already got his eyes on the next one, potentially a fight with Joshua. It's not a good fight to take. Yeah. Joshua's a big, meaty guy. Joshua's right hand's like he's probably the hardest punching heavyweight right now. For me, personally, I think he hits harder than Wilder.
Frank Smith is trying to protect Anthony Joshua's future options, but things are going very badly right now. After their fight at the airport, Deontay Wilder was taken to the hospital, and Anthony Joshua's attention went from a chance to be famous to a huge controversy. When it comes to business, everyone wants to meet Anthony Joshua, But there are now worries about fighting in such a controversial way. Talks about boxing have changed from just finding matches to ones about responsibility and effects. This is a much more serious situation than the usual build-up to a promotion.
It's all eyes on getting AJ whatever works best for him, whatever the right route back is for him. There's discussions ongoing. AJ's the hot ticket. You know, everyone wants to fight Anthony Joshua.
Eddie Hearn tries to keep things calm, but what he says shows that Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are under a lot of stress. The tension, silence, and energy between them have now spread far outside the ring. Since Wilder went to the hospital, fans and commentators have looked at his past contacts more closely. Even as we think about progress, the problems that still need to be solved are clear. The intensity of this competition has grown in a way that was not expected. Anthony Joshua's very existence now stirs up strong feelings, showing why the boxing world is more divided than ever.
I thought he looked better. Listen, Chisora's not easy. Do you know what I mean? He's a tough man. He's not an easy guy to beat. I wasn't impressed with Wilder, but I was more impressed than I thought. That makes
The pain game is interesting to real fighting fans. But after yesterday's event at the airport, the stakes have changed a lot. The fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder was always going to be big. But now there is a lot of debate, emotion, and unfinished business surrounding it. Now that Wilder is in the hospital and tensions are building, the conversation has shifted from the legacy to redemption and how the public sees the situation. Fans are looking forward to a fight and want to know what happened. The future of Anthony Joshua seems to be tied to this rivalry in a way that can't be separated. Every move he makes is being looked at in unprecedented detail.
AJ has two options on the table, and the reality is after that win, I think people would be very fucking interested in watching Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. We never got it. We always wanted it. Yes, it isn't them in their prime. I don't care. I'm a boxing fan. I want to see them two fight each other. In fact, it's even more interesting on some levels now, because I don't know what the fuck either of them are going to look like in there against each other and how much AJ has got left. And he's been through a lot lately. I'd love to see him back in the ring after everything he's been through. It was great seeing him ringside, enjoying himself, seeming positive, enjoying the boxing.
This situation has gone way beyond normal boxing matches and is now one of the most controversial stories in the sport right now. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder got into a fight at the airport, but things quickly got worse after Wilder said he was taken to the hospital. This split the boxing world into two groups. Some see this as an emotional outburst between two heavyweight stars who have been challenging each other for years, while others think Anthony Joshua crossed important lines and should be punished, possibly by going to court. If Deontay Wilder gets over this, it might make him more competitive, which would make his next fight even riskier and more personal. On the other hand, Anthony Joshua is getting a lot of bad press from boxing fans, fighters, and experts who are worried about his behavior and mental health. The most important question is who has better mental health and can handle more pressure in the future. Over time, this competition has grown to the point where pride, image, and staying alive are more important than skills in boxing. If you like this study, please like, subscribe, and tell us what you think about who is right and wrong in this situation.